from head to toe. He wants to make sure there's no funny business going on. He's a fine, fine official here in the CCW.
Yes, he is one of the finest. Looks like Classy Chris is going to be starting it out against Steve Gator Kern here. This is going to be a good match up here. Chris is like a bull. I mean, he'll bear right at you. He's not afraid of anybody except maybe Haas or Cyborg or, well...
Your wife?
Even I'm afraid of her.
From what you've been saying about her tonight, you know.
Yeah, at least I got one though, Eric.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Gator Steve Kern in the ropes now, but it's Classy Chris taking the brunt of his momentum. The leapfrog a little early there for Classy Chris.
He took a hard arm there to the side of the head.
That he did.
And that's not where Chris wants to be, over there in the corner of the West Coast faction.
No, it's not. These guys have been around way too long. They know every trick in the book. Hell, they might have wrote the book.
They've been around long enough, they could have wrote a couple of books.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You know, it really breaks my heart. I remember when I knew that B. Brian Blair was going to come here and work. I was calling my friends. I'm getting to work with B. Brian Blair, you know what I mean? That's just great. And then he turns out to be such a jerk. It was really disappointing, you know what I mean? You ever look forward to meeting somebody and then you meet him and it's just, your whole image is blown? You just wish you'd never met him?
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt when I met you.
Thanks, Glenn. But you know how I feel nonetheless.
We got Dirty Dennis in there now, and looks like he's taking a lot of punishment. B. Brian Blair, like you said, he's been around for a long time. He wrote the book on how to get by no matter what you got in there. And Dirty Dennis taking the brunt of the West Coast faction right now. Like I said, Classy Chris on the outside. Oh, he looks
taking
like
a
he
shot.
caught one there. Steve Kern gets a 2 count on Dirty Dennis.
He's got some kind of a chokehold. I can't see from where I'm at to whether or not he's choking him or not. Classy Chris. It's difficult for me to figure out, you know, I don't root for anybody, but normally, you know, we keep it to ourselves, but we have in our minds who we'd like to see win and lose. And I'm really kind of torn here. I mean, Classy Chris and Dennis can be the biggest couple of jerks you ever want to meet.
Well, like you said a couple of weeks ago, though, Eric, the CCW pay us. I'm behind the CCW no matter what. Classy Chris, he may not look that good. He may talk a lot of trash, but like I said, he wants to save the CCW. If nothing else, he wants to save it for himself. Brian Blair getting a whip off there from Dirty Dennis.
And now Classy Chris Nelson back in the ring, taking the 2B Brian Blair.
That's a lot to say there. Say that 3 times fast. B. Brian Blair.
B. Brian Blair, B. Brian Blair, B. Brian Blair.
You're the man, Eric. The man nobody else wants anything to do with. Dirty Dennis here on the outside. I tell you, Randy Eller's got his hands full tonight with these 2 guys.
These referees always have their hands full whenever you're dealing with these West Coast boys. Then you throw a couple of guys like, oh, Classy Chris going to the wrong side, looking for the tag, but he crawls to the wrong corner and got his hand out to Gator Steve Kern, who damn sure ain't going to shake his hand or even tag.
That's definitely the wrong place for Chris Nelson to be right now.
Yes, it is. He's totally at their mercy. Oh.
The West Coast faction, they're making a wish at Chris Nelson's expense.
Yes, they are. Big stomp.
Chris Nelson has really had the brunt of this whole match right now.
Oh, the big chop. You got to be down here. You got to come to the live show. Feel the chop.
Right now, Gator Kern getting in the wrong corner there for a minute. Dirty
Right.
Dennis back in, handing in the hard
Kinda what we
lefts
wanna
and rights.
see.
Man, we got.
All 4 men in the ring. Randy Eller not even attempting to get any of them out of the ring.
Does that surprise you with the West Coast passion? Here,
Wait a minute, here they come.
now.
Martial
Of course,
law.
we got the
You'll
entire-
love it. Cyborg now hitting the ring. Referee Randy Eller still calling for the bell. All right, so I guess there you have it by disqualification.
Here's your winner, the Hitman.
The Hitmen win the match by disqualification.